sewing friends, and welcome to a special episode of Sequin Girly Creates, where I'm talking about sewing machine essentials. Thank you for Zelda Sews for the tag in this sewing community tag around sewing machines, and it's lovely that Zelda, who I gave a shout out for on my channel the other week, has tagged me in this, and it really got me thinking about my sewing machine. So today's episode is kind of helping Marie, I think her name is, when she's thinking about a new sewing machine and what she would want. And this episode is kind of talking about what are my essentials in any sewing machine. Oh, hair there. Sewing machine I already own or would want to own. So I will put up, while I'm talking, a video of my sewing machine. I have a Janome. I've had it more than 15 years. I think it's pushing sort of 16, 17 years maybe from my sewing machine. I bought it a long time ago in John Lewis. It was a present, but it was a present that I chose. And I have worked it hard and not been the best friend to my sewing machine. I've never sent it for a service. I do sometimes clean it out. If it starts making strange noises, I do have a look at it, but it has worked very hard for me over those years. It has stitched through plastic and been used to draw and design with a free machine darning foot. I have sewn many items on there. I've squeezed many layers through, and it has seen me well up until this point, and hopefully going forward. Give me a second and I'll be back. Sorry, I just needed to go and check something. I'm back. So my wonderful sewing machine, I don't know if they still make it anymore. Probably not. There's probably new incarnations of it based on how old it is. But it is a Janome, and I had a Janome before that, and I also have a Janome overlocker as well. And there are other wonderful brands out there, but I've never felt the need at this point to change. That doesn't mean in the future, if I got a different machine, I wouldn't look at others. But let's talk about why I love it and what's like the essentials I have about it. Now, the one I have is a memory craft one, which means you can program in like a sequence. So there's letters and patterns, and I can program in like my name, and then it will stitch it all out once I've programmed it. I occasionally use it when I was a teacher. The children loved it if I took it in and we were doing a sewing project and I could stitch their names on things. It's not the most used element of my sewing machine, but it has been a fun addition. Would I go for that again when choosing another sewing machine? Not if it was the clinching decision between a really great sewing machine and not, or between a real difference in price point. But actually I have enjoyed having the memory craft. I've made a lot of sort of fun personalised gifts over the last 16 years. And so the fact that it has two different fonts, like a curly and a straight font, has been fun, but it's probably not one of my essentials. It also has more than 30 different stitches, including leaf patterns, twirly patterns. Again, I've used them and they've been fun, but are they an essential? Interesting question. I was watching some of the other videos in this hashtag, and people talking about the space between that you have to fit things through, and I think maybe into the future actually having a sewing machine with a bigger space there might be more essential to me than having lots of programmable patterns. Because when I think about it, the things that I use the most are the zigzag stitch, the straight stitch. The twin needle option is definitely an essential for me. An easy load bobbin, that's definitely an essential, and a bobbin winder, which you can see on my machine, and I'll pop a video in now of like a little tour while I'm talking. It's an easy pop on the top to put a second thread on, which can be used for bobbin winding or to do a twin needle. A thread cutter on the side, which you'll see as I tour around to the side, and also on the side I can pull down a needle threader. That's an essential for me, a needle threader, and also the option of a button holding foot. I think a buttonholing foot is pretty essential. I think a selection of feet, including like a rolled hem, and being able to put on a free motion darning foot, which means I can drop the feed dogs. It's definitely essential for me to be able to drop the feed dog so I can move the fabric in any direction I want. And also another essential for me is being able to move the needle all the way to the left or all the way to the right, and a quick and easy ability to change the length and width of relevant stitches. I think that those are the things that are most essential to me. So being able to do a couple of different basic stitches, I can live without all the fancy ones. Being able to change quickly the needle and the feet and put in a twin needle, and being able, thinking about the buttons down the front, being able to press like to make it go back stitch and forward stitch. I know some sewing machines have a stop button. I don't need that. I'm very happy with being able to control that with my foot. So I don't know if my sewing machine's essentials are helpful to you, but they would be what I would say are my absolute essentials. I like having a variable speed change, because it means even if I put my foot flat to the floor, if I slide that back to the left, it does just slow it down. That in the past was really essential, again, when as a teacher I was letting children have a go at the sewing machine. That definitely helped. And like when my teenage daughter was having a go at sewing recently, I was able to slow it down for her so it didn't get out of control. For me as an experienced sewer though, that's not essential. The storage at the top of where the feet go, that's not an essential for me. A carry handle, now that's a good question. I think yes, a carry handle is essential for me. Where I go to sewing socials or I take it somewhere, I don't want a big hard cover that has to go over the top. A carry handle is definitely an essential for me. I think that's it. I don't think this is a big, long, thought out process. I have put a video in as I'm talking. I will put a picture in of my sewing machine at the end so that you can see some of the bits I'm pointing at. But for me, owning a overlocker / serger means that I've got both to do things. I do wonder if I underuse the different feet I have and the range of stitches I have, but mostly for sewing clothes and household items, I don't need those. I remember when I originally bought it, I didn't buy it because of all the patterns and everything it had. I bought it because it was a Janome and it was good value. I think it was on offer and it had that range of sort of everyday stitching that I needed. It is easy to open up, which I think is quite important for me as well. But there you go, they are my sewing machine essentials, the things I couldn't live without, plus a sort of a talk through of some of my extras. I am going to tag in this Christine of Gemini Stitches and Sam of Sewing Sparkle with Sam, I think that's her name. And so I'll tag these two ladies to find out what their sewing machine essentials are. I will pop their YouTube channels down below so you can go and visit them. And I think that the original sewing community tag for this is creating a playlist as well, so you can go and watch everybody else's sewing machine essentials. And it's quite interesting, isn't it, to find out what we all really think are the most important things to us, and if there's things that maybe I haven't thought of that other people have that maybe I'll get jealous and wish I had with my sewing machine. But I've been very proud of how my sewing machine has lasted over the years, and long may it continue, and maybe I should treat it to a service. Bye for now, sewing friends. I'll see you again soon.